Welcome to day two. It's been a hectic day. I've not been that well, so I couldn't record earlier. But there's a lot that I want to talk to you about, be it in a short video at least, so I can catch up with a lot of you. We do get thrown a lot of surprises in life, be it from the perspective of health, but it's very necessary that we deal with these surprises as best as possible. Try to take care of health issues and other issues as much as feasible from our end by taking care of our health, exercising regularly, and those are lessons that I learned over a large period of time, and that became something very important for me, and it's a good lesson to have learned. But of course, let's not bore you with all that content, but let's talk about something else that I want to discuss with you today. We were going through a lot in terms of the video yesterday, in terms of the vlogging that we did across the city, and that reminded me when the robot was ending that I had not spoken to you much about certain topics which had come to my mind at the end of the video. For interests being around friendships, about relationships, about closing out the year as we're coming to the end of the 2024 calendar year, and also how humans have evolved as social entities and how my interactions have changed the perceptions about humans and how different things become so important and entwined between each other, right? So, at the onset, it was a tough year. Of course, a lot of personal flux and a lot of different issues with health and other related aspects did occur throughout the year. So it became very important to sort of have this period of time to rest, relax, and as the year comes to a close, I hope that I can do that a bit more and relax and keep calm, and then also rejuvenate myself enough to have the next year ready to go for. And then I think that is something that a lot of you would also be looking forward to as we transition from the end of something to the beginning of something in the new year itself. A lot of you would be making new year goals and resolutions in a couple of weeks, and I think that becomes another important concern. And one of those might just be that you need to be more socially interactive, and how do you deal with friends and issues around your personal life. Well, from what I could tell from the year that went by, I think a lot of different issues did come up with friendships and with relationships and with individuals in terms of how you interact with them socially, and how you then have that discussion with them around different things that you believe in personally, but also that there are certain things that they disagree with you. So, to be very frank with you, there needs to be certain boundaries that you do set with individuals, but also there needs to be certain common grounds that you do have adherence to with these people, right? So, for instance, if you're talking to somebody, you need to also understand that they come from a different experience from their lives, and that their lived environments have dictated that they've grown and become individuals in a very different way from what you are. So, it becomes very different for you to perceive and entertain something which they believe hardly into, but then also it becomes important for you to consider that they have come from a very different perception of the same topic. So it might be very different from you and your perspective, and how your family deals with issues or social issues, or how your friends interact with social issues as well. So those interactions itself, they've created so much conflict around the world, right? There are so many socially inept situations and socially misconceived situations where people have become so angry and so frustrated and irritated, and I'm also victim of that bias that I have with myself and my own prejudices. And therefore, I also understand that there is not something that is not applicable to me, and that I also have those social exclusionary practices and the socially inept practices that might come up from time to time. So it becomes important for me to also consider that this applies to me too, and then this does not just apply to people in general, right? But you do have a responsibility to continuously become more charitable towards the way that you're thinking and perceiving different individuals, because then intrinsically you also develop the connection, right? This conversation, this communication becomes very important with your friendships and other people in your life, where you meet in a common ground. So you try to put yourself into their shoes. That helps in avoiding conflict, that helps in avoiding a lot of other problems or potential issues that come around the world, right? So I think that becomes a very important nascent belief system that you have, that you need to be able to adhere to those practices, but principally also you need to change a lot. And I also have this conversation with a lot of people where, why do we have this disagreement with somebody? Maybe if you're in a relationship, or maybe if you're going through something around your friendships, why do people make a mockery? I think one, it does come from a place of ignorance at times, but also the same problem that I've talked to you about, right? That the people do not really put themselves into other people's shoes, and they're not inclined to believe or do things which are going against their comfort zone. And people do become certainly self absorbed, if that might be the right term. So it becomes very important for us to then have that concept that we are separate entities and that we need to do things separately from them. And that may help you a bit, and I hope it does help you a bit in the future as well when you try to look at different perspectives of different individuals. And that might hurt you a bit less if you know that they're not coming from a place always to hurt you. But even if they are somebody who is very different from you, and that you have a very different life, that you are able to become somebody who is very happy within their own space and able to negate all the negative energy that comes around to you. Though this is something that takes a lot of time, takes a lot of presence of mind, and takes a lot of concentrated effort and willpower, it will definitely be something that will keep happening as you keep approaching it with the right mindset, and you keep approaching it with the reason that you need to do it, or the explanation to yourself that you need to do it so that it happens for the betterment of yourself. But also, I guess humans are very complicated individuals in general, right? People have their own emotions, people have their own beliefs, people have their own systems, and that systematically deters people from being that common, or in that sense of commonality between individuals. That deteriorates a lot from what you would probably expect happening in maybe a more closer structure where you've established a relationship for a longer time. So you would see that if you are very close to somebody for a very long period of time, even though they've changed, they've gone along with those changes, it's becoming more easier to adjust to them than to somebody who's not. And that gives you a certain amount of scope to change more proactively and have those conversations with individuals. But those conversations in and of themselves become very important for you to have that sort of charm, or that sort of bonding, or that sort of understanding, which will help you become somebody who is less in conflict and more in tune with people around you. And I think that became a very important perspective as I was analyzing a couple of things that I was looking through in the year. But I'll come back to you again as I reminisce a bit more and think a bit more about the way that the days have ended out. This is going to be a very short one because, of course, the day was tiring. I didn't do a lot in the day except work and make this video for you, do a bit of work about the video that was released yesterday. But I hope you all had a great day. Thank you for tuning in today too. See you again soon. Signing off on the 11th of December.